Hey folks, in this video, I'm going to show you how to look at the NBA regular season that's been going on and quantifying the home field advantage that every team has. And fun fact, the Warriors are 60% more improved team in terms of win percentage when they're at home versus when they're on the road. And then there's some teams where home field advantage doesn't really matter. We're going to do this in Python. Join me in this short 20-minute adventure. Hey folks, I'm going to show a little bit of Python and data analysis on something I noticed that's pretty cool on the NBA. So if I go to Google and if I type in NBA standings, and if you go to the official NBA site, and we look at basically all the teams and their road and home records, you can see that, again, this is just eyeballing data, that there is significant home field advantage. So if you look at every team, basically, except some of the teams that are the last few spots in each conference, home field advantage is a huge thing. Like, look at the Raptors, they have a winning record at home, but a losing record on the road. Look at the Warriors, 29-7 at home, but 7-26 on the road. And I want to get a sense of what is home field advantage? How do you quantify it? Can we run some analytics? Can we see whether the home field advantage across the league is normal compared to previous years? And can we visualize the different teams and how much home versus road makes a difference in that team for this season, and plot them on a chart and figure out and run some analytics on it. At the end of this video, you'll learn a little bit about using Python, using pandas, which is a framework, not a framework, it's a tool within Python that allows you to manipulate columns and do math across columns, and it just makes the data analysis very easy. And we're going to use some plotting libraries to visualize it within this Python notebook. So what is a Python notebook? Python notebook is just, in this case, we call it Colab because that's the one that's hosted by Google. It's just a way for you to run Python code without really needing to do the entire setup, and it makes data analysis possible where you can share with other people. So let's just make sure we have pandas. I don't know if we have pandas. We may need to install it, but that's it's pretty useful for data analysis. Okay, so it looks like we do already have pandas. And then now we're going to figure out how to import this data. I could just copy this to a spreadsheet and just import it as a CSV. So maybe I'm going to go ahead and do that instead. So let me just create a spreadsheet. I'll just do this on Google Drive because I don't really have any kind of Excel program. So I'm just going to go ahead and make some data for 2022. I'm going to paste this data in. Looks like it pastes kind of nicely, but not really. Let me just, instead of Control V, I'm going to do Control Shift V, which pastes the data in a, it's not that great. I'm just going to paste it in. Let's see how this looks. I'm going to actually just try to normal format all of it. So maybe everything font 10. Is there a kind of a way to just uniformly format it? Format, okay, format text. Let's just say it's plain text. Let's unbold everything. I don't care about west, east. I don't care about these extra columns. So I'm just doing a little bit data cleaning, making sure that our pandas tool can actually parse this. And interesting. I don't really want all this like number one. That's fine, whatever. We can parse that in pandas, that's fine. We'll show how you can do that. I don't care too much about win percentage. I don't care about games back. Let's just get rid of some columns we don't really need. Conference. Actually, no, we could just do that programmatically, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so now that we have a relatively clean spreadsheet, and really I just want these two columns and the team name. It's really the things I care about right now. So let's go ahead and download this. Let's see if I can. Okay, so now that I have a pandas, I'm going to try to figure out a way to download this file. Download as a CSV. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the directory here. Usually you have some set of data here that you can work with. So once I download this as a CSV directory here, so it's 1228. I'm just going to open this file just to see if that's what we're looking for. Yes, that's what we're looking for. So yeah, I'm going to just rename, I'm going to paste that into sample data. And then I'm going to rename this to something else so that we can easily refer to it. So I'm going to rename the file to, I guess, NBA 2023. Okay. And now let's try to load the data frame. So I'm going to just look at the documentation for pandas. So pandas load CSV. And it looks like it's this method here. So I'm just going to follow the documentation. So PD, I'll just create a new piece of code block. Okay, so pd.read CSV. Looks like I'm going to pass in the sample path. So let's see if we can do that. Data frame equals. The main object in pandas is data frames. So we have pd.read CSV, sample data.csv. I think there's something to do with like headers, but we'll figure it out in a little bit. So let's see if this works. Nope, it doesn't work. No such file or direct. Okay, so sample data / NBA 2023. Okay, great. So let's actually print out. I'm just gonna write data frame as df because I don't want to type that much. And look, now we have a spreadsheet here. We have, looks like a team name needs to be cleaned up a little bit. So what I can do is I can write a function that takes in a string like this and cleans it up. So I'm going to define a function, and it's going to be like clean team name, and it's going to take in team name. Sorry, I'm writing Ruby right now. Define colon, okay. And I'm going to return team name dot split. I'm going to get rid of all the new lines. And then I want the last element, so I can do -1. Okay, so now if I call this function, if I do, let's just pull out team. Here's all the team names. I want to just apply this function, and I just want to check my work, basically. So when I apply this, I will get just the team name without, okay, team name. But it looks like there's some of these like -O, and I'm really curious what that is. So I'm just going to look at the data just to see what it is. Maybe I'm going to look at the NBA and see what, oh, okay. O means they're out. Okay, so maybe we can also get rid of it. So we split it, and then we, okay, so it's like after new line, that's the part after the new line. We also want to get rid of any -Os. So we can also do split, well, we can replace anything that's like, I guess that's it. It's like a space followed by a dash, and followed by a space followed by an O. And we're going to replace it with an empty string. And I think this is just going to return it. So let's try it. Nope, everything is none. Okay, so after new line, let's see what happens here. I don't think we should, oh, okay, we should return it. There we go. We should return the thing without the -O. Okay, so notice that we've just cleaned all the team names to exactly what a human would want to read. So what we're going to do is we're going to say df team cleaned, right? Names clean. And that's going to equal to this, the output of this. Okay, so now we've created a new column. Now if we just call df, there's going to be the unclean column, and then there's going to be the team names clean column. Okay, next we're going to define a function that's going to look at the home record and return a percentage. And it's going to look at the road record, it's going to return a percentage, specifically this win percentage. And then we're going to take the diff of the two. So how are we going to do this? Percentage win percentage. And this is going to take in like a record string, okay? A record string is something like 28-6 or like 21-23. So basically record string dot split. We're going to split by the dash. And then we're going to do splitted string equals. So the first thing is going to be the wins. Okay. And also I'm going to Python convert string to integer because we want an integer, not a string. So if we have the string 28, I actually want it to be an integer. Let's just say how we would do it. We can just call int. So let's just try that. So int splitted string losses equals int splitted string second item, first item. So that should be wins and losses. Now that we have the wins and losses, we need to calculate the win percentage. Okay, 1.0 times. Okay, so now we're gonna have to do some fractions, right? The total number of games played is the total number of wins plus the total number of losses. The number of wins is on the top, and on the bottom of this fraction is wins and losses. So that's the win percentage. Return win percentage. Okay, so now let's actually try this out. Team, so win percentage. So this is road, so home win percentage, right, is equal to df home, right? I'm going to apply the win percentage function. Okay. And then df road win percentage is road. And then we're going to apply this to the win percentage. Now we're going to print out the df to see what we have. Look at that. Now that we have this, we can actually just try to calculate it. So what is 21 and 3 in terms of win percentage? Well, we can pull out our calculator, right? We can say, okay, 21 divided by 21 plus 13. That is 617, so 61%. That is right. So I think that these three numbers are correct. Now we can actually do a differential. So home field advantage, right, is, now we can also do math between the two columns, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the win percentage at home minus the win percentage at the road, and this is like on average, how much better chances do you have at home than on the road? So let's run that. And then you have a bunch of numbers on the right. Right? And so you have home field advantage across all 29 teams, well, 30 teams in the NBA. That's cool. There's a lot of stuff in this column. I think we should just pluck out the things that are important here, which is the team names cleaned, the home field advantage. There we go. So what else are we going to do? Well, we can sort by this column because I am actually curious what the top teams are that have home field advantage. So what we can do is we can say data frame sort by column. Very common operation in data analysis. Looks like it's called sort values. And looks like they have an example here where you sort by specific column. So let's try that. Sort by, it's sort values by that. Okay. And we put in the home field advantage. Okay. So the Knicks, the Kings, the Wizards, they're the ones that have the least home field advantage. The team with the most home field advantage is the Warriors. The Warriors are literally 60% better at when playing at home than on the road, which is crazy. I actually want to show the ones that are highest first. And so there's this method called ascending false, which means that it would go from highest to lowest. Okay, there we go. Finally, we're going to visualize this in a chart. The chart that I'm thinking of is one of those bar charts where the highest percentage is like on one of the sides and the lowest percentage on it, and then there's a bunch of like text on the bottom. So I'm gonna look up how to do a bar chart. Okay, so I don't know if this is like the best one, but this is what they have for Okay, let's just see what they do here. So we have data : counts, and then you have index equals, well, I don't really want index. Pandas series. Okay, let's actually take a look at something more specific. So this is a pandas data frame to bar chart. Let's just see what this is. And then I want to make sure this is plotted in Colab because it's important to do this. Again, a lot of software engineering and data analysis and just using, like, knowing how to code is quite okay. It's just a lot of using online resources. Okay, so let's try to do this. Okay, let's actually just do this. So we have a bar graph, and then we can plot the x equals, we're going to just select the data frame name, so team names cleaned. And then the y-axis is home field advantage. Sure, why not? Okay, there we go. So we have this chart. Instead of df, we're going to say data because that's the one that's important to us. There we go. So now we have a little bar graph here showing you the Warriors. Okay, and let's maybe get rid of font size because that's really, really tiny. Maybe it'll be bigger, nope. But you can now copy this image link and you can actually show it on Reddit or wherever you want to share this at. So it just shows how much home field advantage matters to which teams. And you can even flip it around. So you do x equals that and y equals that. And yeah, okay, I guess that doesn't work. But yeah, here we go. Okay, cool. So I hope this gives you a sense on what you can do if you can code, if you can, if you're interested in any sector like sports. And within a few, I don't know how long this was, almost 20 minutes. Again, I did not know exactly everything. I just needed to know generally there's some functions. I can apply functions to columns to get a different output. I can select specific columns from the data frame. I can sort by a specific column, and I can go from lowest to highest. I can just copy and paste the data set literally here into Excel and then convert it into a CSV file. And there we go. I've converted it to a plot by just looking at a lot of documentation. So I hope this gives you a good sense of what you can do with simple Python and Colab. That's all. If you have any questions or content that you enjoy, please leave a comment and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.